Isabel Hilton is the founder of China Dialogue and joins us live now from London. Isabel, thank you very much for talking to us. We were hearing there from John Brain a little bit more about what's expected from this trilateral meeting. It marks the latest attempt by the US administration to grapple with Chinese aggression. What's the main concern here?
Well, I think the United States is quite concerned about China's increasing assertiveness. I mean, the immediate trigger for the Philippines has been the standoff over a rusting ship called the Sierra Madre, which is grounded on the Second Thomas Shoal. This is a reef that lies within Philippines' exclusive economic zone, 1,000 kilometers from China. But China is harassing the resupply of this ship. It was grounded in order to provide a base for Philippine military to, defend its claim without actually building on the Coral Atoll, which is something China does, but nobody else has. And it's an old ship which is falling to bits. So China's trying to drive the Philippine military off the ship and therefore off the atoll. And I think there's not much doubt that China would then move in and claim it for its own. Now, this would be a further step in the militarization of the South China Sea and the appropriation by China of waters that are actually kind of much closer to the neighbors who also claim them. So I think the United States, anticipating that this could get really quite nasty, is building up alliances between countries that haven't in the past been too friendly to each other. Japan's relationship with South Korea or the Philippines have not been particularly warm. And it's a mark of how much the strategic landscape is transformed, that these relationships are becoming pretty firm now. So they're doing joint military exercises, they're doing joint military equipment projects, they're looking for interoperability, they're really beginning to operate like allies, and that's a big step.
And Isabel, what's the message here from the three, the US, Japan and the Philippines, to China and China's response?
Well, of course, they're not mentioning China, but I think nobody, again, has any doubt about what the problem is here. And their message to China is thus far and no further. Philippines is a treaty ally of the United States. Japan is a treaty ally of the United States. For the United States to operate in that area, in that region, it needs those allies because, they have the kind of real estate that you need for military operations. So it's a display of strength. It's a display of commitment, which goes much further than it has in the past. China, of course, is reading this as American aggression. China has insisted that the Second Thomas Shoal is China's, despite a ruling by the International Court in The Hague on the South China Sea, which dismissed China's claims to this and many other bits of the South China Sea that China does claim. So we're in a standoff. As far as Japan is concerned, they also have a dispute with China in East China Sea over the Diaoyu and Senkaku Islands. And even after the war in Ukraine began, China and Russia were conducting joint military operations over that area, very much directed at Japan. So again, we see that Japan is stepping up to its alliance with the United States in defense of its own interests, but also laying down a marker about the kind of behavior that these allies seek to resist.
We heard Fumio Kishida speaking to US Congress earlier. What did you make of his speech to US lawmakers? What stood out for you?
Well, I think, again, he's trying to wake up Congress to the fact that it's a dangerous world and that the United States' role in that world is more essential than ever. I mean, as we know, the United States, the political scene in the United States, shall we put it, is pretty divided, and elements of the Republican Party in Congress are holding up aid to Ukraine. They're very much pushing an isolationist line. And I think that it's important for US allies to point out that the United States cannot maintain its position, it cannot maintain a liberal order in the world without its allies, and that when required, the United States also has to step up. So I think that was a message that he sought to deliver.
Isabel, it was a pleasure speaking to you. Isabel Hilton, live from London.
Thank you.